Welcome to the Wholesome Living Podcast, where we don't just ask the right questions, we challenge the way you see the world. I am your host, the Avid, and today we're going to be talking about something very important. Important because it touches every aspect of our lives. Today's episode is the science of value. Now, have you ever wondered why you value the things that you value? Is it because they are rare? Is it because they are beautiful, functional, useful? Or because somebody told you to place value on those things? In this episode, we are going to find out what value really means. And by the end of the episode, your entire definition of worth is going to change. So, what if the way you define value is completely wrong? What if you've been missing opportunities? And what if your understanding of value is based off somebody else's perception? What do you do? In this episode, we are going to, first of all, create a fundamental framework of how to see value, how to spot opportunities. We're going to find out the 4 types of value. And we are going to use that framework, apply it to ourselves, to our relationships, to our very existence, to get the most valuable and wholesome experience of our lives. But what are the types of value? There are 4 types of value: inherent value, functional value, perceived value, and applied value. Inherent value is value as is. Think about a sunset. A sunset it occurs. It is beautiful, whether someone is watching it or not. That is an example of inherent value. Your very existence is inherent value. You are valuable because you exist. You exist because you are valuable. So inherent value is value on the reality of an experience. The existence of phenomena makes that phenomena valuable. Simple. But there are 3 other types of value that stem from that inherent value. Functional value. Functional value is what utility can be gained from a thing. So, what can you do? What do you do? What function do you serve? What purpose are you achieving? That's functional value. And the thing about functional value is that functional value begins internally. A Swiss Army knife is functional. It can be used for a lot of different things. So it serves functional value. Rarely would you see someone carry a Swiss Army knife because it exists. But it exists and it serves a purpose. So it has functional value. Aside from its inherent value, of course. And then there is perceived value. Take a 50,000 designer bag. The inherent value of the bag, say the leather, may not necessarily be of the highest quality, especially not in all cases. But then again, because we place value on the object, it has perceived value. Have you thought? Value can be placed by perception. So the awareness of your perception can place value on things. Understand that as an individual and understand that as a collective. What we place our value on has perceived value. The fourth type of value is applied value. And applied value is a mixture of sorts. It is functional value applied in a perceived way. Functional value in and of itself is closer to inherent value than to applied value, because applied value is external. You have to perceive applied value for it to have been applied outside of yourself. But functional value is what you do. And so these are the four types of values. So just to understand, inherent value is what something is. Functional value is what something does. Perceived value is what something seems like. And applied value is what something achieves when used. An analogy of applied value is a musician performing. You can perceive the application of the functional value that is inherent in the musician performing. So a musician performs from talent turned to skill that is shown and that is seen. That is the stack. So what is the framework that can be practically applied in terms of the science of value? Taking the musician analogy, for example, we can see that inherent worth plus functional skills plus perceived value equals to realized value. And realized value is inherent value functionally applied and perceived. That is realized value. But the perception of realized value is internal, where you perceive your own functional value. And that realized value plus a constant application in your chosen field is what gives you linear mastery. If you remember from episode 1, we spoke about linear mastery. We spoke about quantum success and how they tie into each other. Applied value is akin to quantum success because the perception is external. Once the perception moves from internal to external and you have consistently applied your own functional value based on your inherent worth, you would have achieved applied value and quantum success. But there seems to be a disservice done where applied value is the only thing that is understood about what value really is, as opposed to inherent worth. See, these are the roots that we are building. Applied value should not come from anywhere other than inherent worth. If not, we are at risk of being shortchanged, and we miss the opportunities that align with ourselves the most. Now, granted, it is a harder road to walk to be able to turn your inherent value into applied value. But it is a much more damning experience to apply your value without it being inherent to you. For a long period of time, it corrodes your existence. So, how do we find and recognize our own hidden value? Firstly, look beyond the surface of things. You get an opportunity, does it align with you? You ask yourself the real important questions. Are these aligned with me? What does this mean? What does this entail? What is the root of this thing? You will find value in places that you didn't know you were looking. And this helps to align ourselves and work from a position of joy rather than a position of damnation. Now, the spotting of hidden value takes two forms: objective and subjective. Objective recognition of value is otherwise known as pattern recognition. So being able to see the dots, connect the dots, and otherwise interpret the connected dots. That is spotting hidden value. Now, the subjective nature of that is being able to spot that pattern recognition within yourself. It is in introspection, in psychological analysis, and the study of inherent worth, otherwise known as intuition or the vibe check. And so we have to start practicing finding value in the places we least looked for them. Our relationships, the activities that we go and do on a daily basis, and even our failures. Our lack of clarity sometimes holds more value than we know. Because it points us towards where we should be clear on and invites us to do the work that is necessary to apply value to ourselves. Now, when going through experiences, you need to ask yourself, what can this experience give to me? What is this trying to teach me? Once you absorb that outlook on life, you will begin to understand why optimism shapes the world. Because you might think, oh, this experience doesn't have anything to teach me. And at some point, that may be true. Actually, the fact that it doesn't have anything to teach you is teaching you. But that's a different case entirely. Now, if you think that an experience has nothing to teach you, then you cannot affect that experience. And so, have a thought. The imprinting of your experiences on your consciousness, accompanied with repeated perception of that experience through multiple senses, immerses you in the learning process. So, in your quest for professional mastery and mental alignment, you have to be able to immerse yourself in the fields you choose in order to prove out the functional value of the inherent worth you have then seen in yourself. So, the more you give yourself to an experience, the more you experience what you've given yourself to. And that accelerates the learning process like wildfire. Have you ever tried reading with audiobooks? You'll notice that both your sense of hearing and your sense of sight are engaged. And once those two are engaged, rather than just your sense of sight, you can latch on to the experience of the learning process in real time, double the experience for yourself, and you find that you retain it more. And so, in our redefinition of work through our understanding of functional value, you have to work to combine all the facets of understanding what the experience of this existence is. I think a disservice that was done to us, especially coming from an African perspective, was the splitting of arts, science, and commerce classes. Because, like, the fundamental nature of existence is a combination of experience. And when you begin to split that and divide that, you would find that we are not getting the full experience. We're not getting what we need to be whole. We are segmented into a part and drowned out. That's not the case here. So combine the facets of existence that you can experience and allow that to be what shapes your understanding of value, inherent and otherwise. To conclude, value isn't one dimensional. It affects every single area of your life. And where your awareness goes, so does your value. Money being the monetary mathematical figure we place to ascribe value to where our awareness goes has never been more evident in the social digital age. The more awareness you have of where your awareness goes, the more you can direct the value in your life. I hope you've been able to enjoy this experience. See you next episode.